Tayls, how long have you been at the Kennedy School?
I've been here 4 years.
What's your favorite aspect of teaching at Harvard?
My favorite aspect of teaching at Harvard, interesting students who are going to make a difference in something.
What do you think MPPs are actually qualified to do?
MPPs, what MPPs are qualified to do?
Yeah.
Well, while here or later?
Ever.
Ever.
What do you think MPPs are actually qualified to do?
I'm actually going to give a serious, corny answer, which I know is not appropriate to this this situation. They are qualified. They're better qualified than anybody getting any other degree to do public service.
So you would never hire an MPP?
I would always hire an MPP.
So you think the MPP curriculum is infantile?
The MPP curriculum is about the best thing since sliced bread.
So if you owned a horse, you would not put an MPP on the horse as a jockey?
I'm not even sure what a jockey is supposed to do.
Okay, Dean Elwood.
What about him?
What kind of animal does he remind you of?
What kind of animal does he remind me of? You know, not everybody, some people do remind me of animals, but David Elwood is not one of them, so there's really nothing that comes to mind that I could report on.
Actually, he reminds you of a badger, I believe.
Of a what?
Badger?
What is a badger?
It's a little rodent-like animal. Tenacious.
A little rodent-like animal.
Yeah. All right. What kind of animal does he remind you of?
A lion.
That's wrong. He reminds you of a badger. Dean Elwood.
Dean Elwood.
What kind of animal does he remind you of?
What kind of animal does he remind me of?
Yeah.
A leopard.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
He reminds you of a badger.
A badger.
So he reminds you of a badger then?
And why would you think that a badger would be an apt description of Dean Elwood?
I don't.
You don't? Oh, okay.
And what's your favorite part of being at Harvard?
You know, getting to know students from the inside as they reveal their innermost stories. I like finding out their secrets, their passions. Where else can you do this?
Our next question is sort of a multiple choice, and just choose your least best favorite option. Okay?
My least best favorite option?
Yeah. Least best favorite.
So the one I like least.
Best favorite.
Yeah.
Option one, 3 options. Option 1, being locked in a small room with 30 mid-career students for 22 hours.
Uh-oh.
That's option 1. Option 2, a lifetime devoid of hope. Option 3, having Helene Daniels' hair.
So you want to know what I like most of those?
Least best favorite.
Least best favorite. So what I like most is that
the least best favorite.
Okay, what I like most about this is the 22 mid-careers.
That's your least best favorite? Okay.
Least best favorite.
Okay.
Where do you get that expression from, Scott? Least best favorite.
It's pretty straightforward.
I'm supposed to rank order those things?
Just choose your least best favorite option.
I think I'd most like to have Helene Daniels' hair.
That's the wrong answer.
I'm more pragmatic. I'll take the lifetime without hope.
Okay.
I don't mind the mid-career students for 15 hours.
So you're attracted to mid-careers?
I like mid-careers, yeah.
You're attracted to them.
Well, attracted sounds like we were doing something else, but I like teaching with them.
Oh, okay. Personal question. Why do you so despise Brian Scottco?
The wonderful student and Red Cross board member, Brian, He's Mr. Super Cool MPP2.
So why do you despise him?
Who?
Brian Skotko.
Brian Skotko?
Yeah, why do you despise
I
him?
have no idea what that is.
That's funny because according to a 2001 Citizen article, you said, Brian Skotko is like my family and I despise him.
Interesting. You know, that can't be right, Scott, because in 2001 I wasn't even here yet. I didn't even know what the Citizen was at that time.
Huh. Okay. Personal question. Why do you so despise Brian Skotko?
Well, actually, I like Brian. I like him.
That's interesting. That's interesting because according to a 2001 Citizen article, you said, and I quote, I despise Brian Skotko.
I don't think Brian was here then, but I may be mistaken. You sure you got the year right?
What's the most interesting issue in your field right now?
The most interesting topic in my field right now is global justice. What we owe to whom and why at the global level.
Okay. In other words, so what I'm hearing you say is that you have low self-esteem.
I don't think you heard me say that, Scott.
In a few words, tell me about the most interesting development in your field these days.
The most interesting development. Well, as you know, there are a few fields.
As interesting as budgeting. I mean, financial management and budgeting, it's a close call, but budgeting is a pretty exciting field, and we have new developments every single day. And that's why people watch C-SPAN all the time, to see all the new developments that are happening in budgeting.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're actually saying is you have a problem with intimacy.
Now, how did you figure that out?